A big aloha. How are you today? I'm Cindy Paulos, and this is the Creators Radio Show and TV and YouTube broadcast. And it's always a treat. I get to be so inspired by some of my favorite friends and beautiful musicians in this case today. And the lovely Beth Hilton, my co-host, is here with me. Aloha, Beth Ann. How are you?
Aloha, Cindy. Thank you. I'm great. And let me just say, hope you're having a wonderful birthday week.
It's been a very wonderful week. Lots of flowers, lots of chocolate, and lots of chocolate. And I'm going to go on your diet soon, like maybe tomorrow. Too much chocolate.
Yeah. Well, good. You deserve every bit of it.
Well, you know, we have a wonderful guest today who's really friends with both of us. I've had a chance to work with her, and you've known her for a long time, and she truly is an inspiration and someone who also is right now one of my favorite places on earth in Sedona. So I'm really, really excited to be having our special guest, Valerie Romanoff, with us today. Can you share a little of her bio with us, Beth?
Sure. Let me tell you about Valerie. She is a guitarist and composer, and she takes her listeners on this full spectrum of music that, you know, she's created a real theory around it. It consists of 3 different kind of approaches or phases. One is still, which is music for meditation. Another level is chill, music for activation, kind of bringing your levels up. And then she, you know, really gets into it and gets us moving with her thrill, which is music for celebration. And she has made all of that available on her website, so you can really understand what she's about. It's really, really interesting. As you can see, she is sharing different parts of her life here. You see the magic of Starlight. She's the leader of the world-renowned Starlight Orchestra and producer of Groove into Bliss, musical meditations, and more. You know, she creates these unique experiences, tapping into our vibration of sound and the energy around us. And she taps into the vibration of the music. And, you know, she really does so much more. She's writing, she's performing online. She's really helped a lot of people get through the pandemic with her weekly concerts. And she's going to tell us about a really special concert coming up on February 27th, Saturday night. You know, I've known Valerie. I worked on that particular album right there with her, Healing Music Volume 2, which took off like a rocket. It was amazing. Won all kinds of awards. And so I know that Valerie really believes in bringing intention and affirmation and prayers, you know, into each of our activity to empower us in a more vibrant life of peace, love, and happiness. So I think I can talk, you know, to the end of the day about her, but you'll catch that vibe when you meet her. So let's say hi to Valerie. Hi, Valerie. Welcome.
What a wonderful introduction, you guys. Thank you so much for that. That is beautiful. Wow, Beth. It was wonderful working with you on that album. And, you know, I attribute some of the success of the album to you and to what you did and how much you helped me. And Cindy, it's so good to be with you again. I love interviewing with you and chatting with you and talking to you. I am indeed in Sedona, and it's beautiful to be here.
Excellent. Well, I mean, the credit is all to you, Valerie. It was already all there in the music and all the love that you put into that album. And now there's so much more to share. So, you know, our show is about the creative process. So we do want to tell people about your event next, actually Saturday, the 27th, and we have ticket links available everywhere. And we want to talk about your new book. But before we get into that, let's talk about how you keep this creativity flowing, because I know you are just like this channel from source. So Cindy will have great questions for you about that.
Well, you know what, I think I just would like to absolutely agree with you. And I've always believed that Valerie is the embodiment of having that pure vibe energy come across through her music, which is where the healing comes in, and which is what you've tapped into and have begun to express. So maybe you could talk it and know, I think you have a conscious intention as well, and in your awareness. How did you bring that intention into reality, Valerie?
Oh, that's such a great question. And it's really been a lifelong pursuit of knowing that music is something that is uplifting and affects our emotions. And at first, being involved with music as entertainment, and then the whole inner journey was a separate path. And then I realized how they're really all the same thing, how the music work, even if you're not aware of it, the music is affecting everything. Just the sound waves, the vibrations are changing things. And then to put the intentionality behind it and say, this music is a vehicle. It's something that thoughts and prayers can ride on and send it out into the world and into the universe. And believing in like attracts like and law of attraction, and believing that the things you think about and the things you talk about are actually what you manifest, using the power of music to strengthen that. I've seen it in action, and it just makes me want to do it more and more and use it and tell people how they can harness that power in the music that they enjoy so much.
I love that. That is perfectly said. Absolutely. And, I'm wondering about that moment, though, when you go into the studio. How do you take all of that and bring it here and then out through your fingers or through your mind when you're composing?
Oh, that is a really great question. I would say the first thing is when I sit down, before I play a note or even turn everything on, I do have a little meditation and I say a prayer, and I do ask to be open to whatever wants to come through, to be divinely guided. As a matter of fact, I was so surprised when the first meditation music started to come out. I thought I was sitting down to write a funky song or play some blues, and I said my little prayer, and whatever wants to come through, highest and best, and for the good of humanity and uplift myself as well. And I was ready for some little funky thing, because that's usually what I default to. And all of a sudden, these peaceful sounds and very ambient idea. And that is how that album flowed. And I do think that trusting the process is also one thing that I have to continually learn for myself, is to not judge what I'm doing and not think I know where it's going, and to really let it unfold. I have all my favorite crystals. I have a big piece of amethyst in my studio. I have a really special rose quartz sphere. I have art that I love, that all of those things have the vibrations, that I want to infuse into the music. So it's not just the meditations and the prayers, but it is the intentions as well. There might be different intentions, but they're actually, I believe that it's all vibration. And so those thoughts have a vibration that can be put into the music, and then you feel it. People feel it when you listen to it. And that's the hope, that when you listen also with a certain kind of receptivity. And that's why I like to talk about still, chill, thrill, because in the, still are moments to connect and to allow an inner quiet. And I think that when we go into that place and we have introspective times and we do meditate and we slow down, we can enjoy everything else in our life more fully. And that's why the still is really important before you get to the thrill, because it just sort of sets your own intentions and it connects us so that we can enjoy even more positive vibrations.
You were the first person who ever used those words so beautifully, still, thrill, chill. And I first heard them, and you know what I love about any beautiful power words is they stick with you. And you kind of captured that with that word intention. And that's why I love meditation. I meditate every morning. And when you get in that center, there is in that stillness, that power that comes out. And you express it so beautifully when you do your work and your thrill and your chill. And now with the book as well, tell us about the evolution of what your latest, in your latest book, that there was a chapter on healing, right?
Well, yes, this is so exciting. It was actually another one of the wonderful things that Beth shared with me. One day, she sent me an email and said, hey, you might be interested in this. It's an organization called the Wellness Universe. You might want to check it out. And so I did check it out, and I came to Sedona and went to their event called Soul Tree. And I became a member of this beautiful online community of practitioners and healers and light workers and metaphysical people, all sharing as a big compendium. And the founder, Anna Pereira, does a beautiful job of bringing everyone together. So everyone, the practitioners are all called world changers. So I was really excited to be a world changer. And she partnered with a wonderful woman named Laura DeFranco, and they put out a book called the Wellness Universe Guide to Complete Self-Care. And they put out a book, and the first book in the series was 25 Tools for Stress Relief. And they had different authors each write a chapter. And that book became a bestseller immediately. And the next book is on happiness, 25 Tools for Happiness. And I was invited to write a chapter. And I'm so excited because I just got this copy in the mail yesterday. The book just came out a few days ago. And in honor of the 25 Tools for Happiness, I wrote a song with two of my friends, with Johanna Beekman and Shannon Holt, called Superpower, meaning happiness is a superpower. And we performed it at the book launch party, and we're going to perform it again on our concert next Saturday night. But basically, my chapter is called Healing Power of Music, Your Guide to Peace, Love, and Happiness. And it's basically about how one could use music to find a happier frame of mind, to shift into happiness, to deepen the parts of our lives that precede happiness. And so it was my way of introducing how music has affected me in my life and how I see it affect others in their lives. Because I'm always working with music, whether it's in an intentional way, like music for meditation or music for yoga, or whether it's leading the Starlight Orchestra at a big event and creating all kinds of happiness and celebration and activity on the dance floor and creating, it's all the same. It's working with vibration. It's using the vibes in the music to affect us. So I got a chance to write about it. I loved writing this chapter, and I guess I'm going to write a whole full book next because it was great to have this platform and be part of the wellness universe.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I bet you could write an entire book, no problem. I can't imagine you fit all that into one chapter, but good on you.
Well, they ask you to share a story of personal struggle, and I think I don't usually do that. I don't usually share the flip side to all this happiness. And it was an invitation to really think about, how will I express the full spectrum of my own emotions and my own process, because nobody's happy all the time, and we want to find ways to bring ourselves back into the states that feel good. So that's been the journey in writing the chapters, is figuring that out.
That's a great point. I often see online, knocks against positivity, which is calling people Pollyannas, or, you're always just worried about being happy and how that's just not authentic. But it's really a state of mind, and it can be something that you have tools to bring yourself to. I mean, we have choices all the time of what we're going to think about and what we're going to express. So we develop those tools and learn to catch ourselves before we're, spewing negativity or what have you, or just to bring our inner lives back to a place where we're at peace.
That's the real test. It's funny when I think back about that. His Holiness the Dalai Lama has always talked about happiness, and some people would think, well, that's pretty basic. Why wouldn't he be talking about spirituality, meditation more? But if we are indeed in that core you talked about earlier, Valerie, that center, that stillness, then that stillness should be able to permeate through our challenging times. We've had very challenging times in this last year, and bring about, even in the most stressful times, some happiness. So I'm glad you chose that for that chapter. It's a very important chapter. And if it's only as the Dalai Lama said it's cool, it's cool.
Well, what I love about meditation and how I connect it in, and I think this as well, is that when you're sitting in meditation, there's the practice of bringing your mind back when it wanders, because it always does. And so that practice of realizing, oh, I'm off my track, let me just bring it back. That is really a metaphor for what we can do all day long. Beth just talked about the choices we make. We can choose to bring our mind back to a more positive thought, or to stop spinning out about it or obsessing about a certain thought. But it does take practice. And that's why one of the reasons I find meditation so valuable is because that is exactly what we're practicing. We're practicing listening, and a deeper listening to information that is not, coming from our outer world. It's coming from wherever it comes from. And that does lead to, if we do that in our day-to-day lives and the rest of our day, we can choose and keep choosing thoughts that put us in a happier place.
Absolutely. And I have to applaud your, because I follow you on Facebook as well, and I applaud you taking those opportunities that arise and jumping on them. I think I may have heard about that group you were with, and I never just took the time to follow up. And I'm going, boy, she saw that opportunity knocking. You did, and you just went, yeah. And from there, look at the doors that opened. And I really think that's also a wonderful gift you have as far as understanding that and connecting, like you did with the Wake TV and with the beautiful piece. I remember on International Peace Day, you did this fantastic long all-day broadcast that was fantastic. And I think that art there behind you is by one of your co-creating friends on that, right?
Oh, this is my partner, Shay Condro, and she is a painter and a sculptor and a jewelry designer, and I'm wearing one of her pieces here. And everything that she creates has this intention of inner peace and peace in the world and peace in our hearts, peace in our world. And so I always want this art and the jewelry, and she's a meditation teacher, and she speaks and she writes, and we are both doing this show together next week on Saturday night. And she is going to do guided meditations and do some speaking, and I have a bunch of friends that are also coming on and sharing their own tips and tools, because the concert is geared to be in line with the release of the book. Decided to do a concert that really leaned into music as a source of peace, love, and happiness, and tie it into happiness. It's not all thrill, it's still chill thrill. We're going to go through a lot of thoughts and ideas. And to Beth's point too, it's not just about, oh, happy, 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 happy. It's about, because people do say that. And part of being happy is learning how to find our own way to get us through the ups and downs so that we land in a place that does feel good. And so that's what our show is going to be about on Saturday night. And Shay is going to be a big part of that show.
Now that's the 27th in Sedona, and people can join virtually, I'm sure. Do you want to give the connection to people, the website it's going to be on?
Yes, absolutely. We're doing something a little different this time. We are going to be broadcasting on Twitch, and it is a pay-per-view event. We're not putting it on Facebook this time. We're putting it on Twitch. The tickets are going to be sold on Brightstar. So you'll have a link to that. And if you just go on Brightstar and you search my name, Valerie Romanoff, it's the concert for peace and happiness.
I think with you, Beth.
Also my website.
And Beth, and you have worked well in understanding how to, in a spiritual way, market. There's marketing got a bad name a lot of times because of the way it hijacked people into things they didn't want. And so sometimes people went, I don't want to do any of that because look at what happens. But then I think with the integrity Beth has, and with you understanding how to use Facebook in a positive way, and now these events, maybe Beth, you can talk about how the relationship with you and Valerie worked to bring about in that integrative intent to do it in a spiritual way that was not invasive but helpful.
That's interesting. That requires a lot of history, but I think that we first met through our friend Suzanne Doucet, who's a wonderful New Age consultant and has really shepherded this genre through the years. And she has a great ear, and so she heard what was going on in Valerie's first album, and then the second album. And, she helped to prep it, in the way that is ready for marketing and monetizing and everything else, and then introduced us to, talk about the story and to really, get to know Valerie and bring out what was special and help make it her worlds come together, like she was talking about earlier. I didn't want to ignore the fact that she's this incredible worldwide Starlight Orchestra band leader, which is the fun. I love to dance and party, like anyone. So I love that side. And then how does it all come together, make sense? Well, Valerie is the embodiment of how it all makes sense in one person, because, she is able to bring that all together in her life and in her work. And all I did was help to capture it and funnel it into some succinct words and campaign, I guess.
That's quite a gift. And I have to say, there's people that you might see in your email inbox. You're going, I don't even want to bother reading that. But if something comes from Beth Ann or Valerie, I go, oh yeah, I'm interested in that. And that's invaluable as far as people having that reputation that you and Valerie have, of knowing there's something good there when you see the name. It's like, yeah, I want to check that out.
Well, that's really generous of you, Cindy. And likewise, I mean, I know that every morning you do your poetry, you put it on Facebook, you send it out there, and it's a great way to begin a day's visit to Facebook, is by reading your words and remembering that, all of that matters, and even in a medium like Facebook that can be, a variety of things to people.
So I have a question for you, Valerie. Last year was unlike any other year for entertainers, as we all know. And you had to switch gears. I mean, you had a full year of wonderfully booked adventures that were going to bring in lots of money. And how did you pivot? And the word being used now is reset. How did you go about resetting to make the most, as you have done? And I think you're an example of kind of how to do that. Maybe you have some tips for people on that.
Wow. Well, thank you. Thank you for acknowledging that and saying that. At first it was really a little scary, of course, and not only just at first, throughout. And disappointing, because as you said, we had a calendar, Starlight had a calendar of amazing events, getting on an airplane every couple of weeks. We travel with 20 people. It's this unbelievable, bright and shiny band where everybody brings their love and we all feed each other, and this love goes out to across the audiences, and it was a real super gear change. But there was this incredible opportunity of time that we never have, stay home for a few months, and then a few months turns into a few more months, and having a recording studio in my house and having all of the things I love to do and the toys and the tools, because I'm so busy when I'm working and I'm traveling that I don't have time to develop some of the ideas that I'm really excited about. And after the album, I wondered what will I do next toward this goal of spreading this message and using music to share these ideas of more peace, more love, more awareness and consciousness and intentionality. And so having all of that time, I was able to devote every day to writing, to sorting, to researching, to thinking, to recording more music. And then I started finding that I was able to collaborate. We found ways to collaborate with each other, my friends, my co-writers, even performers, doing videos in different kinds of ways. And it became very fulfilling and rewarding to have so much time. And I think the tip, what I would always share, is to see the gift, to look for the gifts in every situation, because there's always something. And then there's this level of, if you're really trusting that things are happening for your benefit. I recently heard a phrase, and I loved it, that life is happening for you, not to you. And I decided to have a personal challenge to take, and this is a practice, I have to practice this every day, to take everything that happens, even if it seems like it's counterintuitive, or I'm insulted by something somebody said, or I feel bad or something, to take everything as if it was meant as a gift. Because I think if you view it that way, you can find the gift. So particularly in this time, I mean, most of my friends, nobody's worked, you know, our whole livelihoods, our whole work identity are, especially when you're a performer or a live music producer, you crave that, you miss that, and the collaboration with your co-performers. And so that was a real adjustment. But the other thing I just want to throw into the mix, and it's answering a question that Beth asked earlier, and like what is part of the inspiration, is I love nature, and I love being outside, and I love the sky, and I live on a lake, and I'm always on a paddleboard, and I'm out every night at sunset and after, because I don't wake up early enough for sunrise. But well, actually now I do in Sedona. That's a whole other story. We have a beautiful, Shay and Denise have a house, and there's a beautiful Airbnb in this house that they share with anybody looking for real retreat. It's up on a cliff and overlooking the creek and the mountain and overlooking the side of Cathedral Rock, and it's just amazing. But being out in nature, you know, it really fuels my creative desire and my creative expression, because I feel like I'm absorbing the gifts of the universe. You know, I'm actually able, like when I see those colors in the sky and they're reflected on the water below, and
Absolutely.
meaning to that
Absolutely.
we are a bridge between and earth.
It's such a wonderful, wonderful gift, and it never ceases to inspire me. I think that's why I love Sedona so much. And like I love Maui. Boy, are we blessed to be able to get out there and see that beauty. And in the morning, I get up and I take pictures. I mean, these amazing colors. That is one of the best healers, nature, for peace of mind, for inspiration. I absolutely agree. And, you know, I have to say, you exude that, Valerie. We're kind of down to our last minute here, but I do feel that positive energy that you feel in a sunrise or a sunset, or that nature energy that comes through people. And you're one of those people that share that so beautifully in who you are and in your music and your works. And I hope people have a chance to go to your website. Do you want to give people your website again?
Yes, ValerieRomanoffMusic.com.
Yeah.
So many things to explore there, right, Beth?
Yeah, we also want to give a shout out to your friends. You mentioned Shay and Joanna Beekman and Shannon and Esteban Love, right? Are they all going to be in the show?
Yes, they are going to be in the show. Shannon Holt, and she wrote a chapter in this book as well, and she is in my band in the Starlight Orchestra, and she is a healer and an amazing person. And she and Johanna One-Heart Beekman and I have been collaborating on some new original music. Gideon Luke McKinney, he is also a brother, and he is one of the singers in the Starlight Orchestra, and he and I have written songs together before. And Deborah Flieger is going to be doing a special sound healing, crystal bowl sound healing to start. And she and Shay are part of Sacred Sedona Now, is a great organization of healers and light workers and metaphysical practitioners. And they have a website, Sacred Sedona Now, with a lot of virtual online classes and sessions. And I'm so excited. Ananda Yogiji is going to be part of this concert. And, you know, he and Jaya Lakshmi have done music together over many, many, many years. And he and I bounced into him. I met him over with Vibrational Empowerment Network with Kai and Jade. I don't know if you know them, but they're wonderful guys that do a lot. And we got to be friends, and I started to play with him and played in his band. And he's going to be on the show as well, doing some songs and speaking. Everyone's going to talk a little bit about, you know, something meaningful about happiness and music and positive vibration.
I love
That's
it.
Fantastic. That's going to be so much fun. So if you're hearing or seeing this in Sedona on the 27th, then the concert is tonight. But it's on Twitch. Yeah, the 27th at night. And it's on Twitch. Twitch, I know, is really easy to set up a membership for. It's not like a big to-do. So you can do that quickly and then search for Valerie Romanoff tickets on Brightstar, right?
Wonderful.
Exactly.
Well, this has been a very inspirational half an hour, and I just felt the energy just very, very uplifting and inspiring, which is exactly what we wanted when we started the Creators Show, Beth, is just to share this energy that has been expressed so beautifully by Beth and by
Well,
Valerie. And I just have to give a big bow of gratitude to you, Valerie, for your beautiful service, the way you embody it and do it so lovely, and to you too, Beth, for being able to help people bring their dreams to fruition.
oh, no thanks is necessary, but namaste to you. Good luck with your concert, Valerie. We'll be there. And to you, Cindy. Enjoy the rest of your birthday week.
Thank you. Aloha.
Aloha.
Aloha. Good to see you all.